Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Green Umbrella Live Lunch. It's just the three of us again this week. So Christina is, she might join us. That makes it sound like she's kind of like, might join us. But she has a very good reason. She is in, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, she's in Bury St Edmunds today.
Yeah.
So she's over in sort of East Anglia direction, presenting at the Team regional meeting. So Team is the employment agents movement, a network for independent recruiters, and they are just getting back to their face-to-face meetings. So there have been Zoom, but I know Christina will be thrilled to be kind of back in the room, and she's really enjoyed presenting with people. So she is there. So if the meeting finishes and she's got a good connection, good Wi-Fi, she might hop on and join us. But I think we'll assume that she's not today. And it's just the three of us, and we've got a few things to talk about. So we are live as usual on the Green Umbrella YouTube channel, on the Green Umbrella Facebook page. We're not on Christina's LinkedIn because when she's not here, we don't tend to, because we can't monitor the comments. So if you miss us on LinkedIn and you watch us again, then a belated hello. But yes, so here we are. And first off, I want to say Happy Diwali to anybody who is, who is celebrating and joining us today. There's a lot going on in, things like days to mark. So we've got Diwali today. Movember has started this week. There's COP26 going on. So there's all sorts of things that people could be from a marketing point of view. And whilst we always say don't piggyback if it's not relevant to your brand, but there's a lot going on that people could be weaving into that might be important for their business at the moment. Are you guys seeing any of that?
Yeah, there's certainly a few things, isn't there? People want to mark Armistice Day next week and all the rest of it, and yeah, Diwali if it's relevant, and there's I suppose in Black Friday as well. I know that's a shopping thing rather than an event, but again, it's just another date that so people are starting to think about those things now and ask us about them. Starting to prepare some posts ready for them. So
yes, absolutely. So how are you both anyway? How's the week been? How are we getting on?
Good. Yeah, busy. Yeah, lots going on. So yeah, been a print week really this week. Lots of different stuff. So again, like we've said in the last few weeks, people are definitely preparing, ready for next year. Getting things sort of ready to go for the new year now. So yeah, been really good.
Excellent.
Sent out a few Christmas card orders as well, haven't we already? So
Christmas cards, another mouse mat, those sort of things, and then just normal sort of things that people are getting ready for. So flyers, business cards, that type of thing. So yeah, all good.
Yeah, it's I have to say as well, I've noticed, Jane, that whoever sits behind you, is it Christina and Kim?
Yeah.
It feels like whoever sat behind you in the office has gone, oh, quick, we need to make a hasty escape. We don't want to be on film.
Yes, they've all gone out of the office, but Kim's taking notes for this, so she's gone out so she doesn't get the double sound thing from
that's fair
the delay.
enough.
So that's why she's gone out.
Excellent. So what news have we got to share from the world of marketing and social media? What do we know that's happening this week?
I've got something that was quite interesting, and that's Pinterest TV. So Pinterest is such a funny one, isn't it? Nothing happens for ages, hardly anybody uses it, and then all of a sudden it's had a bit of a resurgence and suddenly jumped on the bandwagon of things that everybody else is doing. So Pinterest TV is sort of jumped on the back of TikTok in a way, of something they do on there. But so this is going to be weekly shopping episodes of live TV with sort of celebrities and stuff like that. Or sometimes it'll just be sort of creators who are famous in the Pinterest world, and sometimes actual famous people, and there'll be sort of exclusive deals on offer, and you can interact with the people doing the live stream, and you'll be able to shop through that live video as well. If you can't watch it live, you can save them and watch them later. You can still shop through them, but you won't be able to obviously interact with it. And then I think they said something about every Friday they will drop a list of all the products that have been in all these live things. And then you can sort of go through the list and see if there's anything that you actually wanted to buy. But yeah, these episodes are going to be weekdays at 3 p.m. and that's Pacific Standard Time, so I'm not sure what time that is here. But yeah, that'll be an interesting one to see what happens with, really.
So Pacific Standard, they're behind us. So 3 p.m. for them will be evening / nighttime for UK, I guess. I like you say, I'm not sure the time difference. I just know that they're probably about anywhere between 6 and 10 hours behind us, I would have thought.
So, but yeah, I mean, I imagine if it's going to be that time, then this is a sort of initial rollout, and I guess if it works well, then yeah, there'll be other people doing it as well. So one to watch.
So, sorry, when's that launching? Like
on the 8th.
Oh,
November, so not far off.
Because Pinterest feels like it is geared around. It works well for seasonal. So whether it's people planning crafts or gifts or home decor, or so whether it's Christmas decorations or Thanksgiving things, gift ideas. So they, it feels like maybe they're kind of really gearing up to get their traffic and get people shopping through the channel ahead of the big event.
One of the examples they gave as well was actually making something. I can't remember if it was wreaths or something else. So yeah, they would make something in this live video, and then you'd be able to shop for all the things that they're using through the video as well. So actually, it sounds like a really good idea, I think.
And I think we touched on this before with Pinterest, because I know you keep a keen eye on all the news that's going on, but Pinterest seems to be making a lot of developments. But they've really got the customer experience, the kind of journey from point of interest to checkout, basically. They've done that really well and really smoothly. So if people aren't really using Pinterest at the moment, it might be worth kind of dipping back in and checking out, because it could be a nice, seamless customer experience.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, certainly if you sell a product as well and your business is not on there, now's the time to get planning, assuming all this stuff is going to come here in this country as well, and get ready for it.
Yeah, excellent. Well done, Pinterest. I must admit, I really do dip in and out of it. So, but maybe I might go and have a proper little look through. Yes. Right. What have we got? I'm just going to trying to keep an eye on the comments as well. So, yes, instead of Christina, we have got George the Giraffe looking busy at her desk.
That one.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot. I've got to go. I was meant to be meeting Chris at 12 o'clock.
No, you weren't.
Did you have an appointment? You wouldn't make an appointment at midday on a Thursday, surely.
Oh, it's just one of them things. It just happened.
Oh, right, okay. That's only Christina that does that. What else? What else have we got that's been happening in the past week or so? There's quite a biggie that. So last week, it was half term, and it was just Mark, Christina, and myself, Jane, because you were busy half terming and moving house.
Yep.
So come back to work for a rest, I'm assuming.
Definitely.
But there was mega news in the social networking sphere last week. Which was kind of mega news, but equally has gone like really quiet now, and no one's actually that interested. But she says maybe the shareholders are. Facebook, as a group of companies, announced their rebrand or their rename to Meta, didn't they? So, which would have been Thursday afternoon, so just after live lunch last week. So we sort of missed the announcement. And I've been reading up on it. So in a kind of what does it mean from a marketing point of view? So Meta is going to be the parent company name. So essentially, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, none of the app names are changing, or they're not being planned to change at the moment. And they released some videos where they talked about kind of the rename, and they are quite awkward, I have to say. I don't know if you've seen any of them, but it feels like Mark Zuckerberg is not the smoothest of presenters. And there's kind of an awkward one where he's doing a discussion. It's kind of a film video discussion where they've been edited in with Nick Clegg, so former Lib Dem leader. It just all feels a little bit weird to me, to be honest. So it's kind of why are you doing this? Oh, we must be transparent about it. It feels really stagey and not smooth at all, but whatever. But anyway, they want to be seen as a metaverse company. So I've scribbled some notes down from what they presented, just because I thought it was quite key. Their mission is still the same, they said. Their mission is still to bring people together. But they want to create this kind of metaverse company. So in the future, you can, and I quote, teleport instantly as a hologram to the office, so there's no commuting, to a concert with friends, or to even be in your parents' living room. So what do we make of that?
I think I like the idea of being a hologram in the office. Actually, I think that would work quite well.
Mark, you reckon you could be a hologram at, well, go to a concert, but you could perform at a concert with your band?
Yeah, you never know. I don't know. I think by the time the metaverse is actually fully formed, I think we might be too old to perform by that point. But I think we should have retired disgracefully. But yeah, the actual idea is quite cool, though.
I think I'm going to be an aging rocker.
Well, yeah, maybe. But I think the idea is quite cool, and I get the sort of the whole sort of thing about it in terms of bringing everything together. I suppose it feels, I think we've mentioned probably before, they'd actually announced the name, that it just feels a bit like when Google renamed, that no one's really going to sort of think about Google and Alphabet, and no one's going to really think of it. That everyone's still going to think Facebook rather than Meta for now, anyway, at least, unless the metaverse does come sort of into fruition properly.
I totally agree. I think Google, as we still call it Google, I don't think many people know it's the parent company is called Alphabet. It's just a thing in the background.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It was sort of big news for them and was announced, and people commented on it a bit for the day or so afterwards. But it's surprising how quickly it became old news. But yeah, I sort of the hologram thing made me think, oh, I don't know, a bit weird. Can see pros and cons, but into your parents' living room, I thought you can't hug a hologram at the end of the day.
Well, no, but they'll probably be like sort of, again, I think we mentioned Ready Player One once, and about like the, obviously if you've got the whole full suit with sort of, sort of tactile sensors and things, then yeah, it could be a weird old place.
That's one way of stopping the spread of COVID, though, isn't it? Nobody would actually be near anybody else.
Yeah, it would be
maybe that's the plan.
Yeah, exactly. From a marketing point of view, though, the good news, I think, for what people need to know is that nothing has changed. So, if you're running a Facebook page, your ad account, your pixel code where you're gathering information about who visits your page, your audience data, everything in that side of things is exactly the same. So from marketers don't need to suddenly go on courses or suddenly look at what they're doing. It is very much business as usual, which I think is a positive step. If they'd suddenly changed all of that, that would have been chaos, I would have thought. I think the phone would have been ringing off the hook for us, that's for sure.
Definitely.
So I think they made a bit of a smart move there by not really changing everything, and they would be foolish to change that, because the ad side of things in particular is their revenue maker, and they're not going to change that. That's the thing that's funding the rebrand to Meta. So
definitely.
So I thought that was quite interesting. If people want more details, I can share the link to the slightly awkward videos as well, if you'd like to see those in the comments.
I can't actually see the link, but Chris has said that Ready Player One suits are actually already available. I'm not sure how interactive they are, but the link's in the comments. Might have to have a look at that later.
Say more about Ready Player One, just in case any of the people listening or tuning in aren't too sure what it is.
So I think it's based on a book, but I've seen the film. So it's a sort of virtual game where you play in games as like an avatar, and obviously VR headset, full suit type thing, and it's like a virtual world in separate to the real world sort of thing. A lot more to it than that. Yeah, Chris says book than a film. So
book than a film. Oh, I feel like he's about to do charades with it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're into sort of sci-fi type stuff that might not be sci-fi in the future, it's worth a look.
Yeah, it might be part of our metaverse, part of the reality that we've got. Oh, so there you go. So that was big news from last week. As I said, it might even be old news by now. That's how quickly things have moved, or things have moved on. What else, Mark? Have you got any? What's your week been like? Anything you've seen that is worth sharing?
Just a couple of bits. Some Photoshop bits. There's some interesting bits in a new version of Photoshop that just some filters and things that I haven't had a chance to look at yet, but about blending sort of landscapes and things that looks quite interesting. So I do need to have a look at that and have a play with those kind of things, see if it's actually got some use. And then there was an article that Photoshop are going to integrate NFTs, the option to create NFTs directly from Photoshop. So if you're creating sort of digital artworks and things, you can actually save it to your sort of digital wallet and connect it. And, you know, that's something they're looking to do in the future.
Okay. So, and again, just so if anyone's not overly familiar with what an NFT is, tell us more about that.
A non-fungible token.
Oh, that just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, sort of, you know, digital artworks, digital creations. So I think what was the YouTube video that was sold as an NFT, wasn't it? Was it I can't remember now. Was it the Charlie bit my finger one?
Oh, it might be.
Yeah. So someone now owns that, you know, as their own type, you know, video itself, and then sort of linked to that. I think Jane sent me something where Twitter is looking to be able to display NFTs as well. So again, if you've bought an NFT, you'll be able to display it and show that you actually own it within Twitter as well. It's something they're looking to do in there.
Yeah, it was like a sort of little catalogue thing where, so if you owned a lot of them, you could show them off and people could sort of scroll through them. But the part of it was to do with the fact of proving ownership as well. That was sort of the really important part, wasn't it? And the Photoshop thing allows you to link it back and prove ownership too. Because I guess these things probably get stolen quite frequently, don't they? And they are worth a lot of money, some of them, aren't they? So
yeah,
quite important.
It's a lot of memes often get sold, or, you know, ownership rights they're linked to NFTs as well, aren't they? So there's one, I think, where there's a house burning and there's a little girl in front of it, which is, you know, kind of one of the most expensive memes that's gone round.
Yeah, there was another one recently, unless that's a similar one, where a little girl sort of with a like sort of shocked face, wasn't that sort of sold as well, I think?
So that might be the same one.
Is it the same one?
A sort of evil shocked face with the house burning in the background, as if she'd done it. So
So yeah, if you're creating those kind of things in the future, you'll be able to do it directly from Photoshop.
And what does that, I mean, having these NFTs, does that, I mean, it proves ownership, I guess, but is it actually worth anything?
I suppose it's going to be like any other piece of artwork. I suppose it comes down to supply and demand. So if someone's, you know, creating a piece of artwork or a piece of digital content that someone's interested in, it can be then, you know, bought and sold in the same way as any other sort of, you know, tangible hard copy piece of art, really. Or I suppose, just anything, any content doesn't have to be. I suppose you could, you know, it could be, I'm trying to think. You couldn't do it with. I'm trying to think what we could do.
I was thinking you were trying to sell episodes of Live Lunch for a minute there.
Jane, let's do it.
They are priceless.
Yeah,
priceless.
Yeah, two for 5p. But yeah, I know it could be video content. Yeah, absolutely.
I think about Photoshop very often and design packages that we as marketers, or you as a designer, you know, they don't often pop up on Live Lunch, do they? We very much talk about kind of platforms and print occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's like everything. It's a tool in the background for us, really. So whether that be for, you know, creating obviously images for clients, creating, you know, Facebook headers, or obviously for me doing, you know, print work or web work as well. It's just all integrated in there. But obviously, again, you know, things change and things, you know, they make things a bit easier with every release. You know, there's different things that that they add that just, you know, make things quicker. So, you know, in the old days, you know, if you're cutting out people out of photos and things, you'd be painstakingly going around, almost literally drawing around people. Now you can just sort of use an object selection tool and it does most of it for you, and you can just tweak it. So, you know, something that would have took, you know, hours, you know, a few years ago now takes a few minutes. So, you know, there was a lot of things like that are, you know, really cool that happen in the background, but not necessarily, forefront of what we do.
I've always been a bit scared of Photoshop. I feel like it's like an unknown territory for me, and it would take me hours and hours to learn it.
No, I mean, there's a lot of things that are logical in it, and obviously you know, you use a lot of Canva, so there's things in there that you'd recognize how things work. It's just that, you know, there's probably more functionality in Photoshop to do, you know, similar things, and, you know, obviously it's designed more for, a lot for print as well as online and things like that, and color spaces and things that I have to worry about. But it's a great tool, and like everything else, always developing.
Yeah. Well, yes, and as you said, I'm a big fan of Canva, and I'm actually doing a training webinar on Canva this afternoon. So yes, if anybody else needs tips, it's a one-to-one session with somebody, but if anyone else needs tips on that, then drop us a line. More than happy to help. Cool. Okay. One thing that I've picked up on today that we had a little chat about just before we came on air, because we always do, it's not just kind of wing it when we come. There's a bit of prep involved in a live lunch. We don't want to all come to the table with the same suggestions and same news story. But yeah, so biggie in the world of marketing that everybody tends to talk about. So if you go on Twitter today, in particular, you probably won't avoid it. The big Christmas ads are starting to drop. So John Lewis. I know, Mark, you're shaking your head, but we are probably only about 6 or 7 weeks away. I'm not sure exactly how many, but it's not far.
It's about 5.5 too much.
I know. I'm sure you're paid. But so the big adverts have dropped. So John Lewis have released their advert today, and so have Marks and Spencer's. And they're always there. I guess those are the biggies every year. Although, Mark, what you came up with a kind of the rebuttal of which other ones we need to look out for.
Well, I think, because Aldi always seem to do something that is slightly left field, or maybe just taking the mickey a little bit out of the big traditional ads. So it's always interesting to see what they do, especially or even some of their social media to react to the other brands as well.
Yeah,
which Jane I know likes as well.
Yes,
I love Aldi's social media.
It's very tongue in cheek, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So if anyone watching, if you've seen either of the adverts, drop a, because I'd be really intrigued to know what other people think of them. So will I ruin it for you? Well, you're probably going to see it anyway or watch it. So yeah, I'm going to tell you what they're about.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. If you don't want to know what they're about and want to find out for yourself,
we can have that in the notes at 22:18.
Put your fingers in your ears now. So the John Lewis advert is kind of alien themed. Very
not alien things coming out of stomachs.
No, not
as say that. I'll be up for watching that and just see if it's different.
That would be left field. I have to say, and I don't want this to come across like I am just this cold-hearted, horrible person. But I just don't like the John Lewis adverts. I think they're too saccharine sweet. It's like that their marketers have sat around the table and gone, oh, how can we pull at the heartstrings this year? How much can we make people cry? And I always think they're too sweet, too emotional, and completely unrealistic. I mean, okay, maybe that's the point. They've gone otherworldly with extraterrestrials landing, not Sigourney Weaver and that kind of alien. But they're just not for me. I think they're too much. But again, this one they've done what they always do. I think as well, is where they've taken a well-known song and they've slowed it right down. It's quite acoustic, so it's kind of gives you that, and it snows in the advert, and it when does it actually ever snow at Christmas? Only in movies, not, that's a COP26 discussion, I guess, but which is also happening this week. So there's a bit of a battle. So John Lewis, they've got their big advert out. Marks and Spencer's ad, which is also released today. So they've dropped them at the same time. I guess, we're talking about it, so a lot of other people will be. But for the first time for Marks and Spencer, they are giving life to Percy Pig. So the sweet staple of everybody when they stop at a food hall for Marks and Spencer's at the services or anything, Percy Pig and all his friends. So he comes to life and he is roaming the food hall of Marks and Spencer's this year. So yeah, I think theirs is a little bit cutesy still, but it feels a bit more real in a way, because they've given life to a sweet pig, but everyone knows Percy Pigs pretty much, don't they? And if anyone ever happens to have a bag and is offering around a Percy Pig, don't we all say yes?
No, I don't like them. My kids eat them all the time. I think they're horrible.
Do you? Oh, yeah. Blimmin' love a Percy. And it's so, I wonder if they could do it with Colin the Caterpillar, maybe, because there was obviously the controversy about Colin earlier this year, and the the other stores doing similar cakes. It was kind of Colin the Caterpillar. Who else? Casper the Cow. Anyway, all sorts of things. So yeah, they've given but I feel like that one because there's kind of Percy stopping all the different foods they've got, so it's kind of playing on. They know what they do well, Marks and Spencers, and they know that their food side of things gives them the big boost in their sales and turnover every year. We all probably remember the adverts. This is not just a mince pie. This is an award-winning short crust, rich blah 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 mince pie. So yes, they focused on that. So have a look. And if you're watching this retrospectively and you've seen it, pop in the comment. I'd be really interested, and maybe we can pick up next week. We could always have our ranking of the Christmas adverts. Yeah. Who's done it well from a marketer's point of view? What's our favourite as they all come out? So yeah, what do you think of their adverts in the past? Are you too cutesy, or are you a fan?
They always make me cry. I cry at the drop of a hat anyway. But yeah, I don't know. It's like a culture now to look out for it, isn't it? It's whether you care about the advert or not. It's a thing. It's the John Lewis advert's dropped. We must all watch it. But actually, probably no one really sees them on the telly anymore, do they? I don't know about you, but I always watch everything on Sky or on demand or whatever, and therefore fast forward the adverts, or they're not there at all. So actually, very rarely see adverts on the TV. So I suppose if they didn't do this, only half the people would probably see it. Yeah,
if it wasn't. So yeah, I saw that they'd been released when I was on Twitter earlier, and watched it via a news story on YouTube. So, as you say, unless you're watching something actually live, which not a huge amount of us do. But Mark, I imagine you love the old warm fuzzy feeling that comes with a Christmas advert.
Yeah. No. I suppose sometimes you get sucked into seeing what it's about. But yeah, it's not. Occasionally, I suppose from my point of view, occasionally you said about some of the music that has over the years been some music that's been okay. And, for me, that's quite an interesting way that they present certain things and some songs, and those songs then become almost, it's one of those situations where they could become more well-known than the original sometimes. So they're obviously doing something right from that respect. But yeah, like you say, it's a bit too twee most of the time. So yeah, I'm holding out for the actual alien version.
Brilliant. We have to try and make one of our own on a TikTok. Blasting Mariah out of that. Well, no, I don't wish Mariah any ill.
We don't want to give Mariah any screen time.
Sorry, no.
Or airtime.
Disclaimer, I poor Mariah, I'm sure she's a lovely person, all the rest of it.
But get rid of that song.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, that's the big news in the marketing world, I suppose, this morning is Christmas ads dropping. And you're right, all the others will be following suit. So Aldi, Lidl, Boots, I can't think of any others, but those are the department stores tend to be the biggies that will be out. So yes, we are. I'm going to do a time check as well on exactly how many weeks we have got to go. So fourth today's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks and 2 days until Christmas, folks. So
not long.
plan your parties, think about your shutdowns. From a serious point of view, if your offices are closing, if you've got final delivery dates, order dates, that kind of thing, you really, really do need to be talking about it now. There are loads of dates of significance and events that are coming up over the next few weeks. So we've talked about the fact that it's Diwali today. I mentioned Movember. COP26 is just kind of everywhere at the moment. I have to say, I feel a little bit sick of it already. I don't know if anybody else is, but I've kind of got COP fatigue. Turn on the news. But, if you're in a kind of green, eco-friendly sustainable type business, then make sure you are keeping an eye on the news and what's relevant to that. We've only got a week until November the 11th. So Jane said, kind of Remembrance, Armistice Day, Remembrance Sunday. If you are pre-scheduling posts, and we always say this anyway, try not to schedule them for bang on the hour, because whether you observe the traditions yourself, some people will be. So if you've got a really perky post going out at 11 a.m., the 11th hour and all that, just schedule it for like 5 past, 10 past or something like that. Keep it tasteful, peeps. Well, that's kind of it from me. But is there anything else that we should be sharing?
I had something else, but this office, if you don't move, it goes dark. So I've been sat here, it's got darker and darker.
Well, you need to wave your, it's the PIRs, isn't it?
If I do that, that's a bit better, isn't it? I feel like in a minute won't be able to see me because it's just gone so dark.
That's when you're working really hard, Jane. I used to be in an office like that, and if I didn't move, I was the only one there. The lights go out, so yeah.
One or two still on, but yeah, it's got a bit. It's still outside as well, but
have a little run around.
Yes. But yeah, I did just have one other thing about Instagram, actually, just while we're on to this week's news. They've introduced a new thing called an Add Yours sticker. So basically, when you put something on your story, so say if you put, let's use makeup tutorial as an example, you put a makeup tutorial on your story or something, not a tutorial, sorry, just something about makeup, and then there's an Add Yours sticker, and then someone else can click that Add Yours sticker, and then they can add their own version of it. So we talked about this once with I think TikTok do something similar. So yeah, and then what will happen is when someone views that story, they'll see a little box with the Add Yours people in it, and there'll be a little bubble of each other person who's added to this, and it makes a sort of bit like a story chain, and you can click through and see other people's versions of the same story. Okay. So I just thought that was just quite interesting. It makes a bit more interaction. Stories, they started off just being a thing that was only there, for 24 hours, and you couldn't do much with them. But actually, they're getting more and more interactive, and as we've said before, they are important. But the other thing that they're adding to them as well is links. So originally, you could only add a link in your story if you had over 10,000 followers, but now they're rolling that out to everyone as well. So that again is another little sticker. So if you're selling a product or whatever, put it in your story. You can have a little link through to the website. So again, another way to increase engagement and also drive some traffic to your website as well. So
I think that's a really good move by Instagram to add links. So because stories are consumption of stories, and the fact that they're right at the top of your news stream, they're just so easy to scroll along. So I'm a big fan and a big user of stories. So yeah, I think that's a really good move, that it's not just for kind of mega influencers and celebrities as well. The fact that everyone can do that now, small businesses, it's ideal for them. Small Business Saturday, that's going to be another thing that's coming up. So it's normally around the first weekend of December. So again, be thinking ahead to those key dates. Also, what I like about Instagram that they've done with this change, so I guess they've sort of rolled out a software update which has added where you can add your links in stories. They have moved back, if you want to share someone else's post to your story, that changed, and they moved it so that you had to go into create your story, and then you found a kind of little link that allowed you to go to recently viewed post. It was just really clunky and took ages. Whereas now they've put it back to where it was. So I guess they listen to user feedback. It's always about kind of user groups and feedback for the social channels. And if you look at a post, there's the little kind of icon that looks like a paper airplane, which is where it was before. You press on that and you can say add post to your story, and it's so much easier. So yeah, I'm really glad they've rolled that back. It made it so much more user friendly.
Definitely. Yeah. Even though I use it all the time, I still kept forgetting how to do it the other way. So yeah, make it easy.
Why make something 4 clicks when it could be done in 1? It's all about the kind of click friendly user experience. So there we go. Click friendly live lunch that can be watched retrospectively or as people are going through. We will be back as usual next week, 12 o'clock on Thursday. Am I right in thinking we have a guest next week?
Yes, Helen Smith, who tried to join us once and had internet problems. She's hopefully joining us again next Thursday. So yeah, that'll be nice.
Oh, perfect. And what's Helen's area of expertise?
She does HR stuff. So yeah, Something we need in our office, as we always joke.
Best behaviour. Well, Christina's going to have to be on best behaviour next week, isn't she? If we've got HR in the house.
Yep.
She will admit that, I'm sure. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you've joined us live and if you're watching retrospectively, hello as well. And we will see you all again this time next week on Facebook, YouTube, and Christina is due to be with us next week as well. So we'll be on her LinkedIn. So all that remains is for us to give our little wave and say goodbye. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.